For me, it is about the law and people. That is not a legal defense, let me tell you. And how people can resolve and better themselves.
Justice with passion.
I knew I was going to go into law because I always defended everybody. I was always the one who found a solution and tried to resolve the problem by having people talk to each other.
Justice with truth.
So I'm giving you one more chance to tell me the truth.
This is Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez. Edward Stevens is suing his former employee, Stacy Donovan, in the amount of $3,200. He says after quitting a job, the defendant returned to it behind his back and owes him for his share of the profits.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Cristina Perez presiding. Please be seated. All parties have been sworn in, Your Honor.
Thank you, Bernard. Mr. Stevens, I understand you have a very interesting business. Is that correct? It's
Yes, Your Honor,
I don't want to call it an escort service, but explain to me exactly what you do.
Well, I'm in the companionship business, Your Honor.
That's a much better word, companionship business.
Companionship.
Okay.
Everybody wants companionship, and all I do is help facilitate that companionship.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about this idea and how you started it and how many people you have working for you. What are the rules, the contracts? Give me all the specifics.
A few years back, a friend of mine who was working long hours, making good money as an investment broker, found it difficult to find somebody in his personal life to be able to spend time with. That's when I had the idea to establish a company named Direct Connect to help people that are extremely busy, very professional people, have some fun in their personal life also.
Okay.
So what I do is I match up parties that are interested in the services that I provide. I have a stable of guys and girls that I assist them with.
And what are the services your employees or your guys and girls provide?
Companionship. That's the only thing that I offer. Being able to spend time with somebody, being able to discuss items, travel,
what
and all
about
that.
a sexual relationship or something more significant?
That's neither expressly communicated or implied, Your Honor. That is strictly
That's
between the
not part
parties.
of the services.
Okay, so how long had you been contracted by Mr. Stevens, Ms. Donovan?
Well, I actually worked for him for 2 months.
And how did you hear of his business?
I actually met him about a year ago. My friend, actually, Ashley, she introduced me to him.
So what does she do?
What other people do on a daily basis, friends. I mean, you go to the movies, you have dinner, you know, we do go over their residence. We do have nights over, depending on the tier that you're in. They do have unlimited talk and text with us at any time.
The customers that you met, they were nice gentlemen?
I've actually only met Jim, and he was a very nice guy.
Did you ever feel uncomfortable providing these kind of services?
Yes, after the first 2 weeks, there was 2 incidents in where I informed Edward here that there was sexual advance in Jim's part, which is something that I made clear I wasn't going to be.
So what did you do? You said, I'm not going there. What did this Jim say?
I told them that, you know what, actually I've made enough money for my tuition this semester. I think that I'm going to stop here. You know, I don't need to continue to work.
So then the whole purpose, Mr. Stevens said, is companionship. They go to events with them. I saw something in the news very similar to this. So companionship, do fun activities with them, take trips with them. That's it. Kind of like a best friend?
Somebody to help enjoy your life with.
Okay. All right. And so then tell me why we're here then. What happened?
Well, at the inception of our working arrangement, Ms. Donovan here signed an agreement with my company that was for a period of 6 months, by which she would provide these services. I would collect my commission.
And what was this Jim looking for?
He was looking for a young, mid-20s, college student-ish, vibrant, energetic young woman with whom he could spend some quiet time at home, enjoying fine meals and doing some traveling.
All right, so then what happened?
Well,
do you have a copy of her contract?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay,
I'd like
Bernard,
to offer it to you, if I may. I also have a copy of the tiering system that you might
everything
find
that
helpful.
you have, go ahead and give that to me. Okay, so then what happened then? Why are we suing her for $3,200 in commissions?
Well, the first 2 months went off without a hitch. Jim and Stacy were a good match together. It seemed like they were enjoying their time. I didn't hear any complaints from either one of them directly, and so I thought everything was great.
Okay.
Apparently, about 2 months in, Stacy realized that she had made enough money to pay for her schooling, which was originally her objective.
Exactly.
How much money did you make, Ms. Donovan?
We did a total of $8,000 throughout the 2-month period that I was
So you
working.
made $8,000 in 2 months?
Your Honor, if I may correct you, that was gross. Minus my commission, she actually took home $6,400.
Coming up on Justice for All.
Do you love
Which is-
this gym guy?
I love him, and I love that he takes care of me.
And later,
We throw her up in the air, and the other girls start screaming. She had puked and vomited everywhere.
you're watching Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez. We're back with the case of Edward Stevens, who is suing Stacey Donovan for breach of contract.
If she stopped working for you, what happened?
She did work for a period of time after it is that she said she was a recipient of these unwanted advances. She continued on in her employ for another month and a half.
Okay, so she
fulfilling 2
continued
months.
on. So after the month and a half, when she said, "I'm no longer working for you," what were the terms of the contract?
The contract is
The
specifically
contract wasn't
states.
brought up at that time, Your Honor.
Well,
Okay,
I
but
was
you
trying to be
signed
a
it.
nice
Did you
guy.
sign this?
I did sign that
And the
initial-
most important part of that contract says that
It's a
for
6-month
6
contract.
months after, you could not have any contact with the client at
You're
all.
right, Your Honor. And the
No direct
contract
contact,
also
right?
says that he must remain obligated to provide me with the assignments in order to continue
Okay, but
to
you
work
quit.
and bring income.
But you quit.
Exactly. So I don't know
if
why
you
I'm
quit,
here now.
So if you quit, then that means you quit first. So under the contract, that means he was fine. You don't have to work for me anymore. But you've got the 6-month window where you cannot contact any of my clients.
That is exactly correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, I
Okay.
did try to
So then
contact
what
him.
happened?
I contacted Jim. I let him know that she was no longer interested in working for me. I tried to find him a substitute, but it seemed that he had become particularly fond of Stacey, so he wasn't immediately interested in any of the other women.
So he didn't. Did you keep in constant contact with him, and he didn't want to meet anybody else?
I offered him what I could at the time, and when he decided that wasn't for him, I suggested that perhaps when I got new employees in my fold, that I would contact him and let him know what new developments had taken place and if there's anything else I could assist him with.
Okay. And then
I didn't
so
talk
what-
to him much since
So
then.
then what happened? Why are we here today?
By happenstance, I happened to bump into Jim at my local coffee shop. To my amazement, I was informed that Jim and Stacey have been maintaining a relationship outside
A
the presence of
personal
my
relationship.
Oh wow.
company
Okay.
for approximately the last 2-3 months now.
And what did you do?
I let her know that I'd become aware of the relationship and the nature of her involvement with Jim. And I asked her what was going on and why it was that she decided to go around my services, my company. I did refer her attention to the contract that we signed. I did expressly make it aware to her that she had decided not to work of her own volition. And then I also let her know that there were going to be financial circumstances and consequences that would stem as a result.
After I worked for him with 2 months, we had agreed that I was no longer going to be working for him because I was already paid out.
You
for my
understand you had
position.
a 6-month window where you could not contact
And I
any
do.
client, particularly Jim.
I do understand that. So my first response was to go ahead and contact Edward here to have him provide me with the assignments that I need in order to continue paying my way
Did she
to
ever
school.
contact you?
No, Your Honor.
Yes, I
So-
did, Your Honor, and I have proof of that, right?
But I thought you said you made enough money. I thought you said you made enough money to cover college. That's
I
why you
did
quit.
for that semester. So I no longer needed to work for the end of that semester. So I was going to start
So then
this
you liked the
semester.
money coming in easy. So you called him. What did you do?
I did contact him to ask him for assignments, not necessarily Jim, but any other assignments that he might have available for
She
me. So I
called you?
did try to
Did she
work
call
for
you?
him.
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
But I text him, and I have proof of that with me now.
Okay. Give me a text. Did you get any text from her?
I did not receive a text message, Your
Okay.
Honor.
All right. And then so what happened?
After I didn't hear back from him, which is something rare because he normally does respond immediately, even to just
Why
a
didn't
text.
you call him?
I mean, that wasn't the usual communication that we had. There was no problem with texting. I just felt that
So
he
this
didn't
is just a
reply.
text that says, "Hey, my schedule has opened up a bit. Any work available? I would like to start saving tuition for next semester."
Correct.
So
And he
that
didn't
doesn't mean,
reply.
"Hey, I want to come back to work." It's just something a very And who texts an employer anyway? You call them.
But we've
Your
always...
Honor, I do have an
employment.
office also that she's
All
been
right.
to.
So okay, then you decided to contact Jim by yourself.
Yes, I did. After I didn't receive a reply from Edward, I went ahead
Did
and
you
I
call
contacted
him after the text? Did you visit him at the office? Did you email him?
I did, but normally that wasn't needed. That wasn't necessary. He would normally reply to our text immediately. So I knew that he was just bothered that he was no longer making money off of me. And he
Why
wasn't
would he
going to
be
reply.
bothered? If you were jumping back in, he had a guy that wanted to see you
Exactly.
specifically, so why wouldn't he want to contact you right away?
For
I don't know that,
So
Your
that,
Honor.
like, the argument's kind of, doesn't make sense. Anyway, so you contacted Jim yourself.
Yes.
And what did you do, Jim?
And he went ahead and opened up to me and confessed that he actually started to gain feelings for me and wanted to take our relationship a step up further. And that we did get along, and he was a nice guy, and I'm starting to have feelings for him the same, and we're actually planning on getting married very soon.
So do you love
Which is-
this Jim guy?
I love him, and I love that he takes care of me.
It was very clear that for 6 months after you quitting, or even after the contract being over, you could not contact any of his clients for any reason at all. Period. You could not, and there's a reason for that, because look what happened. So it's obviously that you contacted this individual, you admitted it yourself, you violated the contract, and you owe the plaintiff that commission that was stated in your contract because of your tier level. So that's $800 for the 3 months for each month, so that's $2,400. And don't worry about it, Jim's going to pay for it, so no skin off your back, right?
Actually, that's not true,
So
Your
based
Honor.
on the evidence, I'm going to grant you $2,400.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Judge Perez has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $2,400.
So I guess this is going to have to be the price I'm going to have to pay for falling in love.
You. Have Jem send a check to my office.
Coming up,
We throw her up in the air, and the other girls start screaming. She had puked and vomited everywhere.
close. This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.